Okay, we are reconvening to open session at 5:30 p.m. No reportable action was taken in closed session. Do I have a motion for action on student discipline cases 6, 7, 8, and 10?
I'll make a motion to approve the action on student discipline.
Second.
Call for the vote. The motion passes 4-0. Okay, moving on. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Coleman, do you want to?
Certainly. Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion for the approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call for the vote. Okay, motion passes. Moving on to the showcase. Principal Knott, please introduce your showcase. Oh, sorry. Mrs. Sebastian.
Got it. Perfect. Principal Knott is at a conference with our Teaching and Learning AP down in Southern California, so I'll be filling in. So good evening, board members, cabinet, and guests. On behalf of Principal Marcus Knott, I would like to welcome you to Merced High School, the home of scholars and champions. I'm the Associate Principal of Guidance, Joel Sebastian, and it is my pleasure to introduce Luke Marvuli, who will showcase the MHS Business Department and our future business leaders of America. So, Luke.
Good evening, Superintendent Peterson, board, and cabinet. Thank you for having us and letting us share with you what we do here at Merced High Business Department. I'm Luke Marvuli, and I teach computer science. I also have some fellow advisors with me, Miss White, who teaches financial services and business management, and Mr. Del Toro, who teaches marketing. Together, we are the Future Business Leaders of America, or FBLA advisors at Merced High. FBLA is an organization that has a rich history at Merced High dating back to the 1950s. Rumor has it Miss White was still going to school at that time as well. Today, our club secretary, Peyton Garza, will be presenting a few slides about the things we do as an organization.
Good evening, school board. My name is Peyton Garza, and I'm the secretary of FBLA. I'm here to show you both our club and class operations at Merced High School. Oh, there we go. Okay. First and foremost, I'd like to shout out our advisors and teachers. Without them, we wouldn't have any of the events or classes that we will be going over in this presentation. We are truly grateful as they make up the business operations here on campus. As previously stated, my name is Peyton Garza. I'm the Secretary of FBLA, and joining me are our fellow officers.
Hello, I'm Jaden Carter. I'm the co-vice president of MUHSD, Future Business Leaders of America.
Hello, I'm Mavi Morgante. I am the Director of Competitive Events of FBLA.
Hello, I'm Damon Gutierrez, and I'm the other co-vice president of FBLA.
Hello, my name is Parth Mishra, and I'm the treasurer of FBLA.
Hi, my name is Emily Williams. I'm the Director of Publicity.
Getting right into it, Mrs. White teaches two business and finance pathways, business management and financial services. Her business management pathway teaches typing, presentation skills, and Microsoft Office specialist exams, while our financial services pathway teaches both personal and corporate accounting, helping students to learn everything from writing checks to calculating taxes, or as we say, turning nickels into dimes. Okay. Still with Mrs. White, using these skills, aspiring students can apply for the opportunity to work on campus through a partnership with MUHSD School Employees Federal Credit Union. Students and staff have access to the Bear Branch on Wednesdays and Fridays. Employees of the Bear Branch are students, and they train at the credit union over the summer before they get the opportunity to work for the Bear Branch at MUHSD High. And then expanding, can you go down, please? There we go. And expanding on Mrs. White's pathway, Mr. Del Toro's marketing classes cover 3 major levels of business. First, building vocabulary and general ownership knowledge in his first 2 classes, before moving into careers in business and marketing, where students learn to apply our skills, working hand in hand with companies, clubs right here at MUHSD High. They make everything from flyers to apparel, giving us a real hands-on experience running a business. Oh, there's the Bear Branch. Okay, thank you. Another large part of business in the past few years has been a rise in computer science. Mr. Marvoli's classes teach you UX design, network security, robotics, game design, and he also teaches us coding across JavaScript, Python, and Java to prepare us for the ever-growing tech industry. All these skills learning classes can be further utilized and honed in our on-site career technical student organization, Future Business Leaders of America, or FBLA. FBLA is a great way for students to take their skills learned in class and use them in a wide variety of competitions on a section, state, and even national level. These conferences allow for a large amount of networking all over the nation and allows us to get a taste of the fierce competition seen in the real world. There are multiple types of competitive events that we as FBLA members compete in, including objective tests, role play, presentation, and interview events. These competitions range from just general business knowledge to public speaking, giving anyone a chance to compete in what they thrive at. While at these competitions, or even through general field trips, FBLA is a tremendous way to engage in off-site activities. In these past few years of FBLA, we have gone to tour businesses like Del Oso Farms and Kai Neighbor and countless college trips in Northern and Southern California. In addition to these direct tours, we also take trips to Six Flags Magic Mountain, Disneyland, Disney World, and even Universal Studios in Orlando. We have large plans for FBLA and the business pathways in this coming year, and we are proud to spearhead so many of these great opportunities at MUHSD High. Thank you again for having us here tonight. We are truly grateful to get the chance to share what it is we do. And then thank you to all the staff, community members, and who support FBLA throughout the year. Thank you.
questions?
I have one question, if that's okay.
Yeah, go
No,
ahead,
no,
sorry.
No, that's okay. While you're finishing, so of all the skills and experiences that you've had, what is one that you could highlight that you're gonna take with you beyond high school?
So this past summer, I got to represent Merced High on the national level, which was a great experience for me. I met a lot of different people, learned some real technical skills from the workshops and that they had there. There was one about theme park design, which really resonates with me because that's the career sector I want to go into. And then there was like building your own brand. Overall, very good way to meet people and learn more about business in general. Any other questions?
How often are your competitions? Is there a competition season, I guess, is what I'm wondering.
Not really. We have sections in February and state in May, and then nationals is in July.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Anything local? I mean, are you going to do any of those competitions?
Yeah, sections is a local one, so we're central section,
Right.
so we just go to, I think, Redwood
Okay.
High School in Visalia.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. So, are you all juniors or seniors? What is your,
We're all juniors except for Emily Williams, who's a sophomore.
okay.
But
And, yeah.
the club does range from freshman and senior. It doesn't matter who. It just everybody's allowed to join the club.
And has what you've learned, during the course of your time in FBLA influenced, what you'll probably study in college?
Yeah, I would say so. At FBLA, we learn a lot of soft skills and things like that. So even if I don't use, say, like specifically something for marketing, it's taught me how to just communicate well, like just to like me and you, just how to publicly speak and things like that. So it has, but yes, it has. Like marketing is probably something that I would study in college, and they've talked a lot about that in FBLA.
Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to Mrs. Sebastian, you have a report?
And I know for one that I really appreciate our credit union branch. I use it almost every week. And then to see some of these students out at the bank branches working once they're done with school and have, former students at the bank and greeting me by name. It's good to see them use those skills and be able to have jobs in our community from it. So really appreciate their organization. So once again, good evening, board members, cabinet, and guests. The 24-25 school year has seen Merced High staff continue its efforts to create a campus community that supports all of its members. The goal remains for all students to leave MHS as strong scholars and champions, trustworthy individuals who treat themselves and their fellow community members with respect, set and attack their goals with optimism, and never give up attitude, and ultimately have success in whatever course they choose post-graduation. Our students are rising to this challenge. Our school-wide average course GPA for first quarter was 3.03 with less than 8% failing grades issued. Almost 60% of our students are involved on some level outside of the classroom. We expect that number to continue to rise as the year goes on and more seasons of sports, clubs, and CTSO events occur. Spearheaded by the efforts of our student support APs, Mrs. Hoffman and Ms. Silvera, who are right here. Our staff has recognized close to 400 students for academic performance, outstanding attendance, significant improvements in attendance and GPA, and representing the qualities of being Bear Strong. Those who choose to attend will receive their recognitions publicly at our Fall Night of Excellence tomorrow night at our new gym. Of course, not all our Bears are currently meeting their potential. We continue to tweak our early warning system for our students who may not be meeting our expectations in the classrooms. Our teaching staff has done a very good job of documenting interactions and concerns in our ARES database, allowing our intervention team, which meets every 2 weeks under the leadership of our AP of counseling, myself, and our intervention coordinator, Mr. Schroeder, to query information and use it to prioritize student contacts based on needs. Our counselors and other support staff who sit in on those meetings can leave with actionable follow-up steps, and our student support APs also attend these meetings and learn the valuable information that helps support students in need. It has led to a large increase in the number of SSTs, 504s, and IEP meetings this year to proactively support our students. Regarding instruction, MHS continues its efforts to teach to the level of our standards while also providing relevant learning experiences and practicing transferable skills. Our efforts continue to focus primarily on establishing a strong foundation of instruction for the academic portion of Tier 1 of our MTSS model under the direction of our AP of Teaching and Learning, Mrs. Smith. Our site is making progress toward the key areas of instructions identified by our MUHSD must-haves and outlined by our site theme, which is MUHSD Rise, which describes instruction that is relevant, intentional, scaffolded, and engaging. The specific MUHSD focus on DOK drives our discussions and professional development, with the idea that more intentional we are in the way we plan lessons, the more consistent our student outcomes will be across the campus. We are also partnered with Solution Tree to establish true professional learning communities built on the foundation of transparency, trust, support, and togetherness. And it's that PLC conference that our principal and teaching and learning AP is at this evening. The goal is to have regular data-informed conversations along the following 4 questions. What do we want students to learn? How will we know they learned it? How will we respond if they didn't learn it? And how will we extend learning when they do? Engaging in this valuable work will help us to embrace the shared responsibility to evaluate our outcomes, reflect on best practices, making adjustments as needed to help our students maximize their academic potential. It's challenging work, but part of being Bear Strong is to approach challenges with optimism and a never give up attitude. We're looking forward to the work. Thank you, and I'll be happy to respond to any questions you have.
Question? None from me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, before we move on, it has been brought to my attention that we have one additional expulsion, case number 9, to approve tonight. Do I have a motion to approve case number 9? And we'll do it by a show of hands, since we've already voted.
Yes, I'll make the motion to approve expulsion number 9.
Second.
Okay. I call for a vote. Raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Oh. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, so moving on to the general public comment period. The meeting is recorded. Individuals addressing the board are asked to fill out a speaker card located in the back of the room. Complete a blue card to speak to an item not on the agenda, and a yellow card to speak to an item on the agenda. Please return the card to the Administrative Secretary of the Governing Board. Individuals addressing the board shall be limited to 3 minutes each, with no more than 20 minutes per topic. During this portion of the agenda, the public is invited to comment on items which are not on the agenda, but are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Board of Trustees. The board will take no action at this time, but may refer the issue for further consideration. Individuals who wish to comment on agenda items shall be provided an opportunity to comment after the staff report and before the board's consideration of that item. Individuals who cannot wait to address the board when the agenda item is listed may make their comments at this time. Okay, I have the speaker cards. So first I have Mr. Edgar Martinez.
Hi, everyone. Okay. Good evening, Honorable Board. My name is Edgar Martinez with Treehouse Tutoring and Learning Center. I wanted to come today to invite your students to our annual college application night, held on November 30th of this year. This event is designed to help our local seniors get across the finish line with their college applications. Many students leave it until the last minute, and we are here to answer any last-minute application questions, help fill out forms, review and edit essays. Last year was our first iteration, and it was a great success, with multiple students that thought college wasn't for them coming in just to learn more and leaving having signed up and applied for 2- and 4-year institutions. We are hoping for another great turnout, and all students who attend will be put into a raffle for college application stipends, as well as college gear for the school of their choice. I have some flyers here, and I hope you can help us spread the word for this event. It takes a village, and any assistance would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Can I give this to you guys?
Ms. Lorback. Okay, thank you. Mr. Luke Waters. Oh, yeah, done. Okay.
Superintendent Peterson, President Ham, honorable board members and district leaders, thank you for your time and also for your service. In the CSEA contract, the reclassification language states, there's a line, I'll just not read the whole thing for expedience's sake. There's a statement that says, or if there has been an accretion of duties. And in an educational environment, please forgive me, but accretion is the process of growth or increase, typically by the gradual accumulation of additional layers or matter. On January 1st, 2018 to December 31st, MUHSD had 2,702 extracurricular trips, bus and white fleet. On November 13th, 2023 through November 13th, 2024 today, the district has had 4,589 extracurricular trips. That's a 41% increase in workload. In 2013, when I was hired as a bus driver, bus drivers and liaisons were classed at J. December of 2017, when I was hired as a dispatcher trip coordinator, I was classed as an L. It was a 2-step increase for the added responsibility. In 2017, when I started, I was using Google Sheets, Gmail, and QSS, and my responsibilities were to assign bus trips and white fleet trips. Today I use Google Docs, Forms, Mats, Presentation Sheets, Trip Tracker, TransTracks, TransFinder, and Aries. In Trip Tracker, I manage all district employee user accounts, all district billing accounts, and their association to the individual users, sites, and groups. I basically manage who has access to what and where. I develop all departmental forms, and I've eliminated a significant printing cost for the district. I developed a district-wide schedule found on the district G Drive. I created a Google White Fleet use management page that updates multiple times a day. And more recently, I developed an electronic trip update system that enables our drivers to sign up for trips anywhere at any time and much, much more. A subjective vote last year decided that I did not merit a reclassification for these added responsibilities. And I failed to understand how the obvious accretion of my overall job workload in the last 7.5 years was ignored at my hearing. It was a 41% workload increase, not to mention all the other added responsibilities. I believe that the contract has been violated in this process, and I've been informed that I'm going to be reclassified to M with the other bus drivers. And so after 7.5 years, I'm going to lose the 2-step increase that I was awarded. If you could help, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Next, I have Brad Harvey. Havey, sorry.
Superintendent Peterson, all board members, administration, thank you for your time. I have been attending these school board meetings for a year now, and I'm trying to bring attention for the school bus drivers' pay. I fully engaged in the reclassification process, but was disappointed when we moved from a J to a K, just one step, about 60 cents an hour. In May, You folks gave Dr. Peterson authority to make changes in transportation, but I'm not sure what that resolution has resulted in. Since the start of this school year, from the first day until this very day, we have provided over 620 trips, transporting thousands of students and teachers, and often we use multiple buses on one trip. This is in addition to the regular home to school and school to home daily routes that bring the kids to school. We all know school activities are crucial for students' mental health, giving them a sense of belonging, reducing stress, and building confidence. These activities not only support emotional growth, but also give students something to look forward to at school, which can boost attendance and engagement. I think that was shown tonight. Driving a school bus is demanding. We go through tough licensing requirements and training and are subject to drug tests, unlike any other employee in the district. Our break room has one computer located 4 feet from our only bathroom. It's a one bathroom that is shared between female and males. I encourage you to visit the driver's bathroom at the Merced Yard and consider if this setup would be acceptable in your own work environment. I am asking for a reclassification of the whole department, drivers, mechanics, and office workers. Dr. Weimer noted one time in his presentation that we're the only department without a manager to assist the director. We need that too. But to attract and keep skilled, safe drivers, we need better pay and working conditions. Thank you for considering it.
Thank you. And I can't quite catch this name on the next card, I think. Kirko? Yes. I'm sorry, I can't quite get your name, even with my glasses on.
I've been going through that all my life. It's DeCure. You say it, DeCure.
DeCure?
Yes. I don't know everybody here. This is my first board meeting, but I was encouraged to come by Mrs. Ham. I have concerns that are not with a part of the agenda tonight, but listening to what these people are talking about, it all centers around how to improve the quality of the schools that our children go to and that the people serve here. My issue tonight is more about, well, I have two issues, but she said I only have 3 minutes and I can't cover this in 3 minutes because it's pretty detailed. But I'll start with my children and my nephews go to Buhack High School. At that high school, Mrs. Ham and I spoke about they've lost every football game for 3 years. My son is a graduating senior, and he's never won a football game or a basketball game during the whole time he's been there. So I represent a bunch of parents because I'm new here. And so the parents, when I listen to the parents complaining in the stands and I asked them, well, why don't anybody say anything? Well, I come to find out from Mrs. Euchre, the Principal Euchre, who just retired. She stated that most of the parents that have students that go to that school are single parents. And most of the parents that I speak to are afraid to speak up because they're afraid that repercussions will happen and their children will suffer for it. So they volunteered me to come because I'm outspoken. And I think if there's a wrong being done, then it needs to be corrected. She suggested I come here because I talked to the principals, the associate principals, the new principal, and nobody seems to really care about the plight of these kids that come into school. When these kids go to school and play sports, a lot of these kids play sports because they think that's the only way they're ever going to get out of high school and get to college. Most of these kids come from single-parent households who can't afford for their children to pay for their kids to go to school. And so sports, unfortunately, we put a lot of emphasis on sports in our schools for the very reason because it's entertaining. And in every high school, college, and NFL, football is the #1 sport that carries most schools. It pays for every other. I played football all my life. And it covers everything that goes on in most of your schools because it's the biggest turnout. But if you're losing every game, and you guys have students here that I coached when I first moved down here that transferred from BUHAC here because they got tired of losing. Atwater has students there that transferred from BUHAC because they got tired of losing. And then when I watched the change in the coaching staff, it's the same coaches. They just elevate one to the next level, but you get the same results. So if you're losing every year, if either one of you guys wasn't doing your job for 3 years in a row, you wouldn't be in your position. In my company, if my employees are not doing their job for 3 years, they're not there anymore. You got to perform. You have to do your job in order to keep your job. She asked me to come here, but the situation is a lot deeper, so I can't really go into detail. But that's my concern. That's why I'm here. If I get another opportunity to come, I will. If you guys can direct me who to go talk to beyond you guys, I will. But I'm here to help not just the kids today, but the kids that are coming up behind these kids. So if there's anything you can do, I'm free. Thank you.
Sir, if you have more concerns, you can email us, whatever your concerns are.
Okay, I'll get that information from Mrs. Ham. I just spoke to her earlier, so that's how I knew you guys were here tonight.
All our emails are on our website.
Okay.
But I can give it to you. If you're going to be around, I can give you my info when we're done. But all our infos are on the website, or you can send it to...
Not anymore, I think.
Okay, well, you can send it to Ms. Robach, and she can forward it to us.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So moving on to reports and discussions. MUHSD Star Academy, Ms. Garman.
Good evening, everyone. Very excited to talk to you about Star Academy. STAR standing for Skills Training and Readiness. This is a newly launched division this year of the Innovate Ed platform, and this is for students. So a little bit about it. It's been in the making since early 2024, January, February of this year, just to launch this fall in October. It is a series of online courses for students focused on a variety of professional and life-ready skills. Students, it's voluntary, it's not connected to any grade or anything like that, or credits or anything like that. They jump in and complete things on their own time, although I have found in the past 7 weeks that we've been open that it's all throughout the day. Kids are completing things. And I figure, well, they're interested, it's good. I'm not gonna close it down during the school day. And it's at their own pace. So I'm a little ahead of schedule in my build. So there was only gonna be 2 open to this point, with 2 more coming in December, but I now have 5 open that you can see that are available, with the most recent just launching last week, the end of last week, Creativity and Innovation. There's 3 more coming this school year that are listed under the coming soon, and Managing Basic Finances is going to be part of next year's 7 courses that are coming. And some of those titles are around work ethic, leadership skills, emotional intelligence, project management. I have 7 planned courses for next school year. The courses are made up of about 40, give or take, content pages that includes those things listed there. Some articles, some excerpts, some videos, some infographics. The kids have activities to do where they reflect. There's discussion boards, which are very popular among them. They like reading each other's comments and commenting to each other. There's self-assessments, a mastery quiz at the end of every course. They earn a digital badge upon completion. There's just examples of kind of what 3 of them look like. They can opt for a printed out or digital certificate. The students who get the printed ones, I print them. It feels like daily. It's almost daily, but it's for sure a few times a week, and it goes through our district mail to their school sites, to their site libraries, and then the kids know to come to their library and pick up their certificate. I document it in Aries under awards and certifications so that that's noted as an achievement, and it is super exciting for me to see, unsurprisingly, a lot of the students who have a laundry list of awards and certifications on that Aries page, but for the ones who don't have anything, and this is the first entry that is going on that page, I love that. And I've seen quite a few of those. Every course requires student feedback so that I can make it better and adjust. And I ask them what the strength of the course is. I ask them what would make it better. And I read all those comments, and I've made adjustments. On the third course I released was adjusted based on the feedback from the first two for what they wanted. I didn't have discussion boards in the first two, and they kind of noted that they would like that, and so I put it in the third one, and ever since, and that's been really great to see. This is some comments from some of the kids. Christian was my very first finisher. I was very proud of little freshman at Golden Valley for jumping in. These are just, you have a copy of this, these are just some of the other quotes just from the first couple of few courses that were released. It's been very positively received, which is awesome. So we launched about 7 weeks ago. Today we broke 1,800 kids in the platform.
Oh, wow.
There, as of this morning, were 618 completions, and I have emails in my queue that I've not processed today, so I know it's over 630 by now of completions for these courses. Merced High School is on fire with this. Is Mr. Del Toro still here? Mr. Del Toro pushed his kids into the courses, and I have activities directors that are pushing their leadership kids in. I have teachers contacting me about, I'm going to be out on Thursday. Would this be a good sub plan for me to have my kids do this instead? El Capitan is recognizing their completers with graduation awards. BUHAC is having kids who want to TA next year complete the customer service course as a prerequisite. So it's just sort of blossoming in different ways around the district, which is really great to see. But Merced High alone has nearly 600 kids in the platform. Every school site has kids enrolled, every single school site, including independents. So now time for any questions and answers if you have any.
I actually had 2 questions, but you already answered them. So when you said that you had 1,800 students in the platform, so are those students ones who've actually started something or just checked it out?
There's 1,800 that are enrolled and in there.
Oh, so they've already enrolled in a course, they just haven't all completed it yet.
They
It's
have
the
not
600.
all completed it. I have now over about 630 completions of all 5 of the courses.
In 7 weeks, wow.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
And are you seeing more, is it the juniors and seniors doing it, or are you seeing it split between all the grade levels?
I should have wrote those numbers down. I did have them at one point. It is mostly juniors and seniors, but the last time I checked that to see how it was split, I did have, it was almost even at that point. I did have 150 to 200 freshmen, another 250 of sophomores, and then the balance juniors and seniors. So it's every grade level.
I didn't realize one of the students up there was my daughter.
Oh.
I thought I heard a familiar voice.
You're like, oh.
I know.
Yeah, I just asked for 10. I said I would like 10 of you who have completed. I just emailed them, and I said, it doesn't have to be fancy. Just make me a video and send it to me about what you thought. Tell me who you are, where you go to school, what you completed. And that's what I got.
No, thank you. Sounds like a great program.
Yeah, so far so good. Other questions?
Cheryl, you talked about some sites are tracking them for chords. Is there a requirement, certain number of courses, all 5 in the year?
I know for El Capitan, who's giving the chords, that she is requiring all 8 be completed. The 8 that are due to be released this year.
Gotcha. Okay. And then I guess this is a question for Ms. Pellissier. Are we tracking that through your world as well? Awesome. So perfect. Thank you. That was my question. Thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you, Mrs. Carmen.
Okay. Thank you.
We have Ms. Ballinger next.
Good evening. Tonight we're going to share our progress on 3 of the superintendent goals. Special education and English are both finishing up year 2 of their goal, and so they could potentially drop off when we make new goals this year. And then the third one is our Grow Your Own, which is just finishing up the first year. I do want to say thank you to really everyone, because our goals really take attention from all of our staff, from district staff to site staff, admin, certificated, classified, and we wouldn't accomplish these goals with all of that, without all of that support. So I'm excited to share some of our successes and good works that have happened with these goals. So we're going to start with Christy Johnson with our special ed goal.
Tonight, I'm happy to share how we met all 4 components of the superintendent's goal in special education. Before I start, I want to acknowledge how grateful I am for the entire special education department in this district. The rules, expectations, needs, and philosophies have shifted over the years, and our teachers, support staff, psychologists, administrators, and other service providers are working harder than ever to help students succeed while at the same time navigating the ever-changing demands of special education. To meet our goal, we had to lead a variety of activities. These were led by Kim Berman, Melissa Bowler, and Brianna Pivorato. In addition, we had many people step up to be on our Learning Skills Curriculum Committee, and we had 4 teachers offer to spend their summer creating lessons to help us meet our goal. The first component was development of a Learning Skills Curriculum. Over the last 2 years, we formed a Learning Skills Curriculum Committee with representation from all sites. They held multiple meetings. They discussed common topics and themes and sorted these by grade level. Some of the topics included soft skills, executive functioning, self-advocacy, pre-employment, and transition. We hired 4 teachers over the summer to create 18 lessons per grade level around those topics. And then at the beginning of this year, we reconvened the committee to review and provide feedback, and adjustments were then made to the lessons. We distributed those lessons and expectations through a department head meeting, a shared Google Drive, communication from associate principals, as well as email. And I've even had invitations to come observe lessons being implemented in the classrooms. The second component was co-teacher implementation to increase the opportunities students with IEPs have to participate in general education classes. We contracted with 2Teach to provide training to co-teacher pairs. That happened last year and again this year. Our instructional coaches and APs attended this training, and they will become our district experts for future trainings. 2Teach provided observations and coaching feedback both last year and this year to all of our co-teacher pairs. They also provided training to our special education paraprofessionals as well as our EL paraprofessionals. We emphasized common preps so that special education and general education teachers had time to do co-planning. And I'm happy to say that last school year, we increased the number of students with disabilities in general ed. 76% of our students were in general education 80% or more of the time. The third component was SDC lesson planning. We now have a shared Google Drive with lessons in all subjects. We adopted Read 180 and System 44 for use in our SDC ELA courses. We also adopted Math 180 for use in SDC. Our instructional coaches provided professional development on student engagement strategies to all of our SDC teachers last school year. And Brianna Pivorato has been assigned to all new special education teachers, or newer, some of them aren't brand new, and she will be providing this training as part of her coaching. The fourth component was to develop a common understanding and language surrounding case management and the implementation of IEPs. Again, Brianna Pivorato met with all of our departments district-wide to discuss and share best practices and brainstorm ideas. We developed an IEP checklist and an administrative guide for IEP meetings, as well as a notes template for all administrators to use. We developed a checklist for case managers to review for IEP prep. Brianna Pivorato, again, has been assigned to all newer special education teachers, and she will provide this as part of her ongoing coaching. And she also created a how-to video to help case managers and general ed teachers learn how to bookmark the IEP at a glance, which gives all the accommodations and modifications that students have, and also talks about their IEP goals so that all of our teachers have access to them. And finally, we've been doing case studies and meetings for all administrators so that we can share best practices and kind of evaluate how we're doing. Any questions on the special education goal?
Hi, Mrs. Johnson.
Hi.
Can you go back real quick to your 76%, 80% of the time? I know out there's something in the federal world that says we have to have some benchmark soon. Are we pretty close?
Yes. So the benchmark is 65% of our students will be in general ed 80% or more of the time. So we exceeded that by getting it to 76%.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I have a question. I hope that this goal doesn't go away, and that's, I think, for something to us when we do superintendent's goals the next time around. And I understand that the elements of this goal are very task specific, program specific, as far as making sure we're going through the checklist. But what are we expecting to see as a result of this. So we've done all these pieces, we've invested in PD. What are we expecting to see in terms of performance? Because even now with, you know, the latest data that's going to be coming out, our special ed students are performing lower than our regular ed students, the rest of our population. So what would we expect to see, and what might be the next steps as a result of
I think one of
this goal?
the most important things that we need to focus on is 10% of our students have a disability. Actually, it's a little bit higher. It's about 11% of the students in our district have a disability. So it is expected that they are going to perform lower because of the nature of their disability. However, we need to look at individual growth. And so that's why they all have individualized education plans, because we're going to measure their individual growth. We need to look at exposure to content standards that they weren't getting when they were segregated in special education classes. So it's hard to look at test scores because we have to look at baseline academic testing before we can see if there's been growth. And that's done every 3 years for students with IEPs.
It needs to be really a continued area of focus. I mean, either
100%
side from
agree.
the disabilities and we've always looked, I think, at the multiple measures and the bigger picture, and I think have done a pretty good job of that. But it does give us another lens into what that particular group of students might need. So
I think it goes right along with our DOK goal because we're going to raise expectations for students.
Thank you, Mrs. Johnson.
Good evening. I'm here to speak with you tonight about the progress of our English goal. So thanks for all of the work surrounding this goal goes to all of our English teachers and functional communication teachers across the district. In addition to our English department chairs for their leadership and communication, and for meeting with me once a month for the last 1.5 years straight after they've already taught all day. In addition to that would be a thank you to our instructional coaches and induction mentors, as well as all of our site admin, but especially our teaching and learning administrators for supporting all of this work, implementing this work, and just being there for their teachers. The first component of the goal discusses not only the implementation of a new curriculum from a publisher called McGraw-Hill that we implemented last school year, but also the formation of assessments, because it had been quite some time since those existed locally within our district. Those assessments were created by teachers after a process. We actually followed the process that math went through. They sort of forged that path, and so it made it a little bit easier for us to emulate that. Our assessments that were created are standards-based with a focus on skills. And what we did is we had a teacher representative group come together from each of our grade levels, and they created quarters 3 and 4 first so that they could pilot and administer those during last school year. And that way we could come back for a revision process and then move forward into creating quarters 1 and 2. So rather than implementing all in 1 year, we kind of broke it up. And I think that that was a really productive process for the sake of the revision piece. When we administered our quarter 1 assessments this school year, just recently in October, we did meet our goal. In fact, I think we exceeded it. Our goal was a 95% completion rate, and I think we were closer to 97 to 98%. So that's, again, a thanks to all teachers for making it a focus and for site admin for following up as well. Moving forward with the local assessments, we will continue to revise them based on need. That involves teachers coming together and identifying there might be some areas that there's a problem. And so we have to look at sort of an individual question basis. But the most important part of this process is looking at the data, because we didn't have it before. And so in moving forward, there is a district and site level focus on data analysis. So we want teachers to be able to make instructional moves. We have this platform that we are administering the tests through, and it provides us so much information that can help us to change our practices, that standards breakdown, the frequently missed questions, just the areas of skill-based instruction that we need to focus on. So that's really our main emphasis in administering these assessments. The next part of the goal talked about administering what we used to call the reading inventory and has recently changed to a test called MAP Growth. This part of the goal involves administering that test to all students across the district, and we have been successful in doing that as well. Our average completion rates range from 90 to 95%. They are a little bit lower than our local assessment range, I think part of that has to do with the time of the school year that we administer this test, so that provides a challenge. What you see here in terms of data is just one data point that's provided to us through the administration of this test, and that is we're able to see growth, and that's something that we really want to focus on. So you can see here that we have performance levels, the first test given in the school year compared to the last test given in the school year, and we're able to see some areas of growth, like students moving out of the below basic range, moving into one of the higher proficiency levels. Again, data is available for individual teacher use, which was also part of this component of the goal. All teachers have access to individual student data, and then site administrators have access to their school site, and we obviously discuss it at the district level as well. One nice thing about transitioning to the MAP growth, so our publisher, they discontinued the reading inventory, which is why we moved over to the MAP growth. NWEA is a nationally recognized organization, and so they provide a little bit more data than we had with the reading inventory, and part of that is breaking it into different domains. So now we're able to not only see what a student's Lexile is, so their reading comprehension level, but in addition, we can identify if they struggle in an area that matches with our standards. So we can see if they struggle with a literary, like fictional text, if they struggle with a nonfiction text, or if they're struggling with vocabulary, which would then bleed into both of those areas. So having that domain-specific information for individual students is a helpful piece that we didn't have prior to. The second part of our English goal is around the implementation of our Read 180 program, which started in 2022. So what you see here is some annual growth metrics for the last school year. And one important thing to note here is that there is not one goal for all students. Rather, this program, like the nature of it, is that it is catered and customized to the student's individual level. So each student had their own individual growth goal, and that's how we're measuring progress and growth here. On the left chart, those are students who are involved in the Read 180 curriculum. And as you can see, some important pieces of progress are that 70% of students enrolled in that course gained Lexile, so they grew with their reading comprehension from beginning to end of year. 55% of students met their end of year goal, and I do think that we can continue to improve that number. And that's just gonna take a continued focus and providing teachers support so that they can support their students. On the right is a program called System 44. So teachers who teach this class are really running two concurrent curriculum at the same time. And 53% of students gained Lexile there, and 22% of them reached their goal. So growth still to be made, but lots of growth also happened. This is an overall proficiency growth progress from last year. So again, we have first test from fall 23 to last test of spring 24. And important things to see here would be, again, movement out of the below basic category, and then additional students moving into proficient category as well. So many students made great gains. This is one data point out of many, but I would like to say great job to students for focusing on their goals, for teachers for supporting them, and for all the staff who support the teachers as well.
Before you go to the next slide, may I ask a question? So is there a way to understand just what grade level all these students are, especially the ones below basic? I mean, do we have a lot of seniors in there? Are they mostly freshmen? Because it would be very concerning if we had a lot of seniors in that pool.
So this particular data is focusing only on our students who are enrolled in a Read 180 course. We call those English intensive, and currently those are only offered at the freshman and sophomore level.
Oh, okay.
And we have, I could provide as a follow-up the numbers per grade level, but we have far more students enrolled in the 9th grade level to really try to remediate then and there. And then we have fewer sections of the 10th grade course, but we do have at least one section of the 10th grade offered at every school site.
Okay, thank you.
With the exception of Yosemite, so it's only in the 9th and 10th grade classes. Okay. And wrapping up, just a few of the challenges, because as was just discussed with special education, I hope that the work we're doing here continues. And so keeping students motivated is just a realistic challenge. The curriculum can be somewhat repetitive because that's sort of the science behind it, is that they are really honing in on a focused set of skills. And so by nature of that, it can be monotonous. So continually trying to work with teachers and work with sites, how we can incentivize, how we can keep students engaged. The curriculum has also had some updates, and so once teachers get used to something, then the platform changes. So we have some challenges to face, but I think that we can continue to do that and make growth. Lastly, here are some next steps for English overall. One area would be to look at focusing on writing across curricular areas. So really continuing to emphasize that we are all teachers of literacy, and we need to provide structured opportunities for literacy, particularly writing, across a student's whole day, because only offering it in ELA is not enough. We want to continue to focus on our curriculum usage and continue to provide support in our English intensive courses. And in all of these pieces, we want to use data, because that's what these platforms are providing to us, and that's what these test scores are providing. They're giving us data that we can use to make sound decisions that support our students in moving forward.
Kim, on one of the slides you had, I'm sorry, do you have another slide?
Oh, no, I don't think, no, I don't, okay.
There was a slide that stated the teachers have access to the, yeah, there it is. The data is available for individual teacher use. So that's all of a student's teachers, not just their Read 180 teacher.
Yes, so the reading inventory, which again is now the NWEA map growth, that assessment is administered to all students, which is nice because it's really the assessment that goes along with the Read 180 course, but we purchased it to administer to everyone so that all teachers, even outside of the English intensive courses, had access to their students' reading comprehension levels, and they're using it for a variety of reasons, for like planning. If they're gonna give students a text, they sort of have an idea of what class period, sort of where that class period's levels lie.
Okay, that was my next question, is how are teachers actually using that data in between the assessments, to differentiate? So you're seeing that they are in the planning process?
I mean, I think so. I think we can use it more. Transitioning to the NWEA was a bit of a challenge this year too. It's a different platform, it's a longer test, and everybody had just kind of adapted to the previous one. So you can see here the bullet point specifies that we provided training, but it was really training around the administration of the test and the structure of the test. Our job now, and this is in partnership with math, because math is also administering the same test, to provide them specific training about reading their reports. So right now they have access to it. We've provided instructions for how to utilize it beneficially through email. I mean, sites have talked about it, but we haven't provided an official training for that yet.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to share with you some of the work that we've done with the Grow Your Own Goal. I'm going to share the student piece, and then Mr. Nicholson's going to share some of the staff piece. So we were in year 1 of this goal. Some of the opportunities that we've created for students have been in our education CTE pathway. We have the Child Development Pathways at Atwater High School, El Capitan, Golden Valley, and Merced High School. Traditionally, the Child Development Pathway has gone to Yosemite High School's toddler and infant care for their capstone class. This year, Atwater High School was able to develop a partnership with a local preschool in Atwater, so their students are actually able to stay in Atwater, so then we're able to get more students into the Yosemite offering. We also have the education pathway at Atwater High School, Buhack, Golden Valley, and Merced. Last year we became part of a collaborative called We Will, and we were given a $400,000 grant to work on our education pathway. And the We Will grant and the collaboration is a tri-county task force between Merced County, Stanislaus County, and San Joaquin County. So we're working not only with other schools in those 3 counties, but with industry partners and then also workforce. And so we're working to develop a roadmap to careers so that we can offer our students that direct path to Stanislaus, the direct path to UOP, the direct path to Teacher College of San Joaquin, because all of those institutions are part of this. So we're able to create that direct roadmap for our students who in this area in the 3 counties. We've also, through the We Will Collaborative, been able to participate in an education summit where some of us went to work sites and learned about what was going on in the education field, not that we don't already know that, and then also had an opportunity for some planning there. We also, this year, were given an apprenticeship planning grant to learn how to create apprenticeships of our own, and Capital Impact, which you may remember them, they've helped us with the CCSPP grant. They're helping us with the apprenticeship planning grant to see if it's going to be feasible for something for us to do. Also, this should look familiar. Last summer, we worked with Merced County WorkNet, and we were able to provide work-based learning during the summer where we actually paid our students to come work in education. We know that when we talk about education, most people think of people becoming teachers, but we also have lots of other jobs in our district that don't require you to have a credential, that you may not want to be a teacher. You might want to do something with grounds, or you might want to do something with custodial. And so we worked last summer to provide those opportunities for our students. You can see that we had a total of 216 students who worked and got paid last summer through this partnership with Merced County WorkNet. We also had students through the We Will grant, and then also this summer kind of paid internship thing work out through CalTeach at UC Merced. And then actually we had one of the students who did the summer internship was actually hired at Atwater High School as a night custodian. So right there, we've already seen a direct path to our district from what we're doing with our students. So I do want to thank our staff who helped support our student interns, because that was really a change for them. That's the first time they've tried it, and they were willing to do it, and it was a very successful venture. I'm going to turn it over to Brett for some of the staff stuff.
Good evening, everyone. Human Resources has been an extremely busy the last year. So last year we had the retirement incentive, and that created approximately 200 vacancies in classified positions and 90 vacancies in certificated. So beyond filling all those vacancies, the whole Human Resources department has turned over. So we've replaced all technicians, specialists, and me included. So, it was a very busy spring, learning processes and learning from our retirees, and then filling all the vacancies. Special note, the classified side, we filled about 60, I think it's 62, 63%. We hired from within, so people moved up in positions within our district. So that's really exciting. Currently, in supporting certificated preparation, we've got 18 student teachers placed, 18 counseling interns placed. We have 9 student observers, so students in their bachelor programs who want to become teachers, and 6 CalTeach participants. So we are partnered with Stanislaus, UC Merced, Fresno Pacific, and Fresno State. Leadership development. Last year, we had 8 participants, so 8 current administrators participated in the Future Principals Academy, and 2 of those promoted up to principal. Mr. Swartwood hosted a leadership academy that was comprised of both certificated and classified employees. And our sites are currently offering admin designee support and training. So site principals have identified teachers on campus who may possibly want to get into administration in the future, and they are required to go to like monthly meetings, help support at events, and do some extra activities on campus to be exposed. One really great program that we've instituted a few years ago, we created the intervention coordinators that were assigned to all sites, and out of that pool of people, we've had 5 of them become associate principals. So that's Jade and Mike Solis, Brandon Sanchez, Mr. Marmoleo, and Mr. Gonzalez. We're also, Mr. Johnson, who's currently our intern principal at Buhack Colony, is an adjunct professor at CSU Stanislaus in their leadership program. I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Questions? Any questions for Mr. Pratt? No. Okay. Thank you. All right, so next we move on to the Employee Association comment period. Is there a representative from DTA that would like to address the board? Okay, no one. Is there a representative from CSEA that would like to address the board? All right, no one tonight. Then we will move on to consent agenda. Lost my place. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Trustee Pickle, would you like to acknowledge the donations? I usually do that.
Yes, I will do that.
I'm sorry.
All right. The board would like to thank the following for their donations. See, the first one's going to stump me here. Is it Panaderia, Guadalajara? HopeForMyCity.org, Lakia and Hill DDS, Winton Supermarket Sub Shop, and is it Nujiv du Valles Mucho? Maria Elena Diaz and Juan Vasquez. All Environmental Services, Brian and Mandy Ballinger, and that is it. So thank you all for your donations. You gave me the tough one, Ms. Jayasinga.
Thank you, Trustee Pickle. Are there any questions on the consent agenda? Okay, no questions. Let's call for the vote. Okay. Motion passes 4-0. Moving on to the action agenda. Scott Weimer, Dr. Weimer.
We have before us tonight the board meeting dates for 2025. Trustee regular meetings are scheduled on the second Wednesday of each month as reflected on the proposed listing for 2025 with exceptions as follows. A special board meeting on June 3rd will be added to allow for the budget and LCAP adoption as required by Ed Code 52062, which states that a meeting to adopt the LCAP and budget must be held after, but not at the same day as the public hearing. This meeting will be held on Tuesday night to avoid interfering with YHS, IHS, and MAS graduations. If student disciplinary occurs between May 28th and June 5th, the result in an expulsion, a special board meeting will be needed to have after June 16th to take action on the expulsions. No meeting will be scheduled for July. If it is determined that a meeting in July is necessary, a special meeting will be held. And the August meeting has been moved to the first Wednesday, as the second Wednesday is also the first day of school. Superintendent recommends the board approve the 2025 Board of Trustees meeting dates as proposed.
Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the board member meeting dates.
Second.
Are there any questions? Okay, call for the vote. Motion passes 4-0. Moving on to summer school calendar. Mrs. Ballinger?
The Merced Union High School District is committed to offering all students credit recovery opportunities. The district will offer remediation courses and a special education and migrant education program in summer school. The summer school program for credit recovery will be an independent studies model. Students in our special education and migrant program will be taught in person on campus. All summer school staff are required to be physically on campus every day. The calendar is on the screen there. We would have June 10th be a teacher in-service day with summer school starting on June 11th. June 19th is a holiday. Since it falls on Thursday, we also suggest Friday off for students and teachers. And then July 4th is also a holiday, and so summer school would end on July 11th. The superintendent recommends that the board adopt the 2025 summer school calendar.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? Okay, call for the vote. Motion passes 4-0. Moving on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mrs. Jayasinga. We finally have water in the Atwater High School pool. And yes, and Merced High School is probably 2-3 weeks behind. Is that right, Melissa? Or more? A month. Okay. Well, thank you for all your efforts. I know everybody is excited about that. We're wrapping up election season. Our incumbents did very well, 2 with healthy margins at the current time, and 1 close election. So nothing to be announced yet. There'll be another update tomorrow night before 8 p.m. So you might want to check that out. And a reminder to our board members that at our December meeting, we will have our officer nominations and changes. As we all know, we had a major shift in the American electorate with the results from last week's election. I have received a number of questions about the U.S. Department of Education and how its elimination or downsizing might affect us. From a financial perspective, between Title I, II, and 3, special ed and Perkins, which are resources that support CTE. This makes up about 6 to 7% of our budget. If there was no Department of Education, these resources would go directly to the state and then to us. The other major responsibility the U.S. Department of Education has is compliance. For example, sampling our high schools on a yearly basis for equitable participation and outcomes. I realize there is a lot of concern over this. I have no idea how it will turn out, but if I had to guess, I would say it will probably be greatly reduced rather than eliminated. Either way, we will be okay. So stay tuned for more news on that. Finally, a shout out to Cheryl Garman. She is an incredibly talented individual, always willing to accept new challenges. Often those challenges start with words that come out of my mouth or me writing on a Post-it, which she interprets. And then she brings the idea to life. This has happened over and over the last 10 years. The Star Academy is an extremely relevant program to our students. Understand that this just started in September. What, 6 weeks, 8 weeks at the most. 1,800 students participating after just a month or two. That says a whole lot about its value to students. This was not a superintendent goal. This was not scribbled on a Post-it by me. This was all Mrs. Garman, and I thank her for always being willing to innovate and make our district stronger for both students and staff. I want to thank all of our veterans for their service, and I wish everyone a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Peterson. Moving on to communications, board member communications. Trustee Pickle, would you like to go first?
Thank you. Just a couple Mr. Waters' comments. How is the accretion of duties defined? I mean, I'm sure it has something to do with, and these don't necessarily have to be answered now, just food for thought. I'm sure there's something in there about volume of same duties versus additional different duties. Also, question about how the Merced bus barn will be utilized once the new facilities are fully being utilized. How that's going to reduce the staff over there and some of the issues that that they're facing. So just a few things I think for us to look into. The information on. Sorry, I'm going to borrow yours. Is that okay? Thank you. Thank you. The internship, the slides on that, that's really nice to see that come to fruition because I think it was just a year ago, wasn't it? Was it 2 years ago? A year ago that we heard about that at the CSBA conference?
The internships?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we started a little bit last year and then full board this year.
Yeah, so that's, I think, really nice to see in a short amount of time and what it's doing for our students, the opportunities it's created for them. So that's very impressive. And then also the Star Academy, Cheryl, the enrollment and the completion in such a short amount of time is also very impressive. So thank you to everyone.
Okay. Trustee Coleman?
had the opportunity to go to the Merced County School Boards Association conference in October, and several topics of interest came up. The big one was cell phones, because the state decided that they were going to put that in the ed code, and so ways that districts can plan and what they need to look for. Similar conversations with a couple of advisors from Capital Advisors on the funding and the outlook that Mr. Peterson already brought up. And then we had a couple of presentations, just different ideas on security that were interesting. So I really did appreciate going and making that connection and meeting other board members from our community as well. Melissa, shout out for you being diligent with the pools. Thank you very much. I know that was exciting to see that today. I got a couple of photos from Mr. David Svensson about the pool and the water. That was awesome. I appreciate that. Cheryl, great job on Star Academy. I can't think of a better way to utilize some information from students and putting that to play. That's great. I appreciate that. Mr. Sebastian, make sure that you let FBLA know. That was a very good presentation. I appreciated them coming out tonight. That's it, Mr. Del Toro. I'm sorry, Mr. Del Toro. There you go. Appreciate that as well. The goals tonight, I think Tiffany kind of touched on this a little bit. I do like the special ed one. I think we're making great progress. Christy, I think we should probably continue that as well, just to keep pushing forward. And I know that there's concern about the testing and all of that, and you made a good point about it's not, it's that one snapshot, one day in a year, and it could be a good day or a bad day. It all depends. But being a former co-teacher, I know that it does work, and it does do well, and it's great to have those students in there. And I think our treehouse person left, but thanks for coming by with that as well. Thank you, guys.
Trustee Valdez.
Hello, as always, thank you all for what you do. Everyone here. I say it every time, so that's pretty much it. You guys, we're here for the students first, and I believe that we keep to that 99.9% of the time. So that's great. Also for Mr. Brad Haven and anyone else that comes and advocates for their peers and the students, we appreciate that you guys do that people come in to do that, because that's what we're here for, to listen to you. And sometimes we can move on things, sometimes we can't, but at least we get to hear your side of it, and then talk and see what can be done, whether it's through the board or the union or whatever. But obviously it's harder through the union, but we can only do our part as individuals in the board and as a board as a whole. But thank you all for coming and for what you do.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Bastian and the staff for hosting us this evening. Appreciate that. And FBLA, I always enjoy seeing their presentations. I think the organization teaches a lot, and it's great to see the students participating so fully in that. Enjoyed seeing our students recognized at the Knights of Excellence at LCAP and Atwater High. And I do plan to be here tomorrow night to see Merced High students, and then Golden Valley's next week. I would like to say congratulations to all our students who are competing at sectionals and beyond. It's always great to see all our students, succeeding at the local level and then going on and competing with other schools in NorCal. So I wish them all the best of luck. Star Academy, I am very excited to see, hear about it, but then also see data in the next few months to see how many more students participate. I plan on going and getting more information from my own now that I know, she's been a participant. So, but thank you. Some of the topics on there, we roll that out to our workforce, our supervisors. So it's nice that students are getting exposure at the high school level. Definitely valuable life skills. I did want to also mention, I wanted to extend my condolences to the family of Mike Bick. For those of you who may not know him, he was a staple at all the El Capitan games. You'd always see him on the sidelines. He's he's the original gaucho, and I enjoyed sharing the stage at graduation. He always enjoyed sending the students off when.
I didn't know either.
Oh, sorry. So, yes. Anyway, so he will be missed. So,
Absolutely.
yes.
Great guy.
Oh, I did not realize they posted it. So anyway, yeah.
I'm not a social media consumer.
So with that, again, thank you to everyone for all you do for our students. I know everyone's looking forward to the fall break, so enjoy that well-deserved break, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
One comment before we adjourn. So I heard a couple of you talk about the need for these things, these goals to continue. And I would agree with that, and I think most of Cabinet would agree with that. But remember this conversation when we go to next month and we start to talk about superintendent goals for the future. Thank you.
Okay. All right, with that, forgetting my, it is that time right? Oh, okay. The meeting it's 7:02 and the meeting is adjourned.